So Attack on Titan, the final chapters, has been sort of going on for a couple of years now. I remember you actually talked about this, I believe at the end of 2020 when they actually kicked off the final season, but they have certainly stretched out the storytelling to take a little bit more time in sort of executing this final story. And they just recently released a few weeks ago the first part of a special of the final chapters in this season 4 of Attack on Titan. So you've gotten a chance to check out this new special and catch up with everything that's happening. So I will pass it over to you. What do you think so far about the final chapters of Attack on Titan?
People who either know me or have followed this show know and understand that I love Attack on Titan. To me, it's one of the greatest anime of all time. Shoot, look, I got a jacket, Attack on Titan jacket, right here next to me, man. But it is just one of those anime that feels so different than almost anything we've ever gotten, man. It's so different in the way, in its structure, the nature of what even a Titan is so weird. It's all crazy, man. It's very Shakespearean. It's just a very crazy, I think, story to put in an anime form, but it wouldn't exist in any other way except the anime form, man. And so, Attack on Titan, the final season, man, has been going on for a very long time at this point. This is being animated by Studio Mappa. Attack on Titan hasn't always been animated by Studio Mappa, but Studio Mappa picked it up, I think, end of season 3, maybe season 2, and it's kind of been a weird release schedule ever since. Because of that, Studio Mappa has a lot on their plate. And so we come into this is part 1, I think, of or no, this is the final season, part 3. Yes, this is the final season, part 3, part 1. I know this is very convoluted and very confusing. But they decided to release this as a 1 hour special, and part 2 will be the same in a couple months. We're getting part 2, and part 3 will both be or no, just part 2 of part 3. My goodness, this is ridiculous. Will be another 1 hour special later on in the year to conclude the entire series. We're almost there. Long story short, it's just Attack on Titan. It's still great. It's still very much beautifully animated. It's still very interesting. It's still one of the coldest anime to ever do it, for sure. The only thing that's going on is the release schedule. It's taking a lot of people out of it, man. This final season, part 2, part 1, part 2, part 3, it's too much going on. And I think a lot of fans who have followed the show for a long time feel a little bit of I don't know, they feel the experience, I think, is somewhat tainted by the crazy and eccentric release schedule that we're experiencing right now. And I have no doubt that they'll still finish and it'll still be a tremendous finale. Shoot, actually, there's even hints that maybe this anime may not end the same way that the manga ended, which could be a good thing, could be a bad thing. We'll see when it happens. I don't know, but I still think it's going to be great at the end of the day. By the way things are going, man, this 1 hour special is everything that I expected it to be. I did read the manga before all of this, so the story is very much the same for the most part, and they do it. They hit it on the head. It's very, reading and watching is very two different things. That's why anime exists. Reading is great, but it's something about that anime that can just make everything feel different, man. And so I again, I think we're still headed to greatness. I think the finale is still going to be great, but man, this release schedule has been a little fatiguing. And I just hope the fans stick through it. We're almost there. We have one more part to go, but man, it has been a journey.
Quick follow-up question as it relates to that, because we have talked about this a little bit just in terms of this really, really staggered and extended release schedule. I just want to sort of know from your perspective and from like other fans of this series perspectives, where do you think the momentum was sort of at its highest in terms of the final season? Because this really started, this whole journey with the anime particularly started at the end of 2020. I know that there were some episodes last year. Of course, we have the special that just recently came out. There's going to be, another special coming out later this year. Has the anticipation and the hype sort of died down as we just progressed over the past like 2 years of trying to close out this chapter? Or do you feel like that anticipation and that excitement is sort of still there amongst the fan base?
At the beginning of the final season, the release schedule was normal. They were doing weekly episodes, and I think that's when it's at its highest, right? When you can continuously get people coming back to talk about this thing every week of the way these episodes work, man. And so now that they're doing these 1 hour specials, the hype is still there. Don't get me wrong. Everyone's like, "Oh, shoot, Attack on Titan's out." The trailers are still good. The posters are still fire. But it's something that still feels different than when we're doing these weekly release schedules and episodes, man. So probably I'd say I think early last year actually is when they were doing that. Literally like a year ago. It was like late March, early April is when they're releasing those episodes in a weekly fashion. So I would say that's probably the height of the final season. Even now, I will probably when that final one comes out, I think it'll respark. But this one does feel a little weird because we know it's not the end yet. It's just the 1 hour special. So yeah, it's been a weird in between for this past part. But I definitely have a feeling the last part, the final part that we're getting later on in the year, I think the hype will kind of come back for that last hour special.
Yeah, I think that section of any sort of storytelling when you're concluding something, whether it's a film series or a TV show, that section right before the end, like you know it's about to end, but it's like that one piece of the story right before the end. If it's a part one or whatever the case may be, it's always like the tallest mountain to climb because, as you said, people are expecting and waiting for the end, but you also know that you're not quite there, and so you just have to wait and be patient. And so that's typically a difficult balance to try to strike. But we'll ultimately see what everything paints out to be later this year with the final chapters of Attack on Titan. But folks, those are our thoughts on season 4 of Attack on Titan. If you've checked out the new episodes of the anime, definitely hit us up and let us know what you think.